Two people drink from the same river. One is a traveler, one was born there. 12 hours later, the traveler is in a hospital, hooked to an IV, losing water faster than anyone can put it back. The local is completely fine, same water, same bacteria, two completely different outcomes. And the difference between those two bodies is about 300,000 years of training. For almost all of human history, every human alive was that second person, drinking water that should have killed them and walking away fine. So what happened to us? Why did the water only start winning recently? You already have a picture of ancient water in your head. Brown, stagnant, crawling with disease. That picture is real, but it's a picture of the wrong century. The diseases that kill people through water need one specific ingredient to spread: human waste. A lot of it packed into one place, leaking into the water people drink. And for most of human history, that ingredient wasn't there yet. Hunter-gatherers lived in small bands. They kept moving, chasing food and water across the land. No village, no sewers, no thousands of people fouling the same bend of river for months. When you keep moving, you never sit in your own contamination long enough for it to breed. Kyle Harper, a historian at the University of Oklahoma, lays this out in his 2021 book, Plagues Upon the Earth. His point is blunt. The deadliest waterborne diseases are diseases of settling down. They showed up when we stopped moving. Back in the 1980s, the scientist Jared Diamond called farming the worst mistake in human history. A big reason was disease. A generation earlier, the anthropologist Mark Schaller had called foragers the original affluent society. They worked fewer hours, ate a wider range of food, and dodged the crowd diseases still waiting in the future. Their water was cleaner than you'd ever guess, but cleaner isn't clean. A moving river still carries parasites and animal waste that can put you on the floor for a week, but a person who had never heard the word bacteria had no idea germs existed. They still had to pick which water was safe. How? The answer starts with a feeling you've had 1,000 times. You lean over stagnant water, catch the smell of rot, and your stomach turns before you decide anything. That reaction has a name. Scientists call it the behavioral immune system. The psychologist Mark Schaller named it in 2006. Long before your body can fight a pathogen, your brain fights to keep it out of your mouth in the first place. Valerie Curtis spent years studying disgust at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. She showed that disgust tracks disease almost perfectly. The things that revolt us, rot and slime and stagnant water, are the exact things most likely to make us sick. That gag reflex when you smell foul water isn't an opinion. It's an immune system older than language, doing its job. Your ancestors read water the way you read a weather app. Moving over still. Clear over cloudy. The pool where the deer drink, not the swamp where nothing does. None of it was science. It was instinct, sharpened over 1,000,000 years, and it kept them alive. But instinct only takes you so far, because the smartest thing they did to their water, they did without understanding it at all. They filtered it, not from any theory of contamination. They just noticed that water pulled through sand and gravel came out clearer, and clearer water made them sick less often. An ancient Indian medical text called the Sushruta Samhita goes back more than 3,000 years. It describes boiling water, straining it through cloth, and filtering it through sand. The Greek physician Hippocrates strained water through a cloth bag that people later called the Hippocratic sleeve. On the walls of Egyptian tombs, more than 3,000 years old, there are paintings of water being cleaned in settling jars. The Egyptians dropped a mineral called alum into cloudy water to drag the dirt to the bottom. Water treatment plants use that same chemical trick today. Others dug drinking pits a few steps back from the river's edge. Water seeped in sideways through sand and gravel. The ground filtered it before it ever reached their lips. Modern engineers use the very same principle, and they call it bank filtration. None of these people knew what they were removing. They only knew it worked. Then there's the trick they never meant to perform at all: boiling. They didn't boil water to kill germs. Nobody had the concept of a germ. They boiled it for soup, for grain, for tea, and boiling the pot killed everything in the water by accident. Then came the strangest safe drink in history: beer. For thousands of years across Mesopotamia and Egypt, beer was one of the safest things a person could drink. Not because anyone was drunk. Early beer was weak. It was safe because of how people made it. Brewing boils the water. Fermentation drops the acidity and adds a trace of alcohol. Both of those kill the things that would otherwise kill you. A 2022 review in the journal EMBO Reports said as much directly for much of human history. Beer was often the only safe liquid around. People built a whole drinking culture on top of a water treatment process and never once knew that's what it was. Their world had filters everywhere, in their habits, their instincts, even their cups. But the most important filter wasn't out in the world at all. It was inside them. Look at your own stomach. The acid in it sits at a pH of about 1.5. That's a chemical kill zone. In 2015, a team led by the biologist DeAnna Beasley measured stomach acidity across dozens of animals. Humans came out near the very top, more acidic than almost every other primate on Earth. About as acidic as a vulture, the bird that eats rotting corpses and never gets sick. Your gut is built like a scavenger's. That acid is a wall. Most of what rides in on a mouthful of dirty water hits it and dies. Then there's the training. A hunter-gatherer child drank slightly living water from the day they stopped nursing. Small doses, every day, for years. Their immune system grew up in a constant sparring match, meeting new microbes and learning to handle each one. Yours grew up in a clean room. It's the same reason that Traveler ended up on an IV, and the local didn't feel a thing. The local's gut had trained for this since birth. None of this means they were invincible. Plenty of them died. Infant death was brutal. A bad water source could still empty a whole camp. Even breast milk did its part, handing a baby clean fluid and the mother's own antibodies. But the ones who lived passed their armor down. You're not descended from the people who got sick. You come from the ones who drank the same water and walked away. The human body came armored against dirty water. That leaves one last question. If we were this well defended, how did water ever become one of the great killers of our species? The answer is the thing we're proudest of. We built cities. And a city breaks the first filter, the one that mattered most. Thousands of people stop moving and crowd into one place. Their waste and their animals' waste piles up right next to the water they drink. Now the river isn't carrying the contamination away, it's collecting it. That gave the deadly waterborne diseases the two things they'd always lacked: crowds and a steady supply of human waste. Cholera and typhoid never stalked the wild river. They were born in the gutters of the first cities, and we only worked out any of this a heartbeat ago. For almost the entire history of cities, nobody knew water could carry death. In 1854, cholera tore through the Soho district of London. 500 people died in 10 days. A doctor named John Snow mapped every death, street by street. The cases all circled one thing: a single public water pump on Broad Street. The source turned out to be a leaking cesspit a few feet away, fed by one sick baby's washing water. Snow had the pump handle removed and the outbreak died. It took another 30 years before Robert Koch found the actual bacterium under a microscope. That's how new this knowledge is. The most dangerous water in the history of our species was never the muddy river. It was the clean-looking water running through the middle of the city we built to keep us safe. The next time you turn on a tap and clear water runs out, sit with how new that is. It's one of the youngest miracles we have. Your great-grandmother may have been born before it ever reached her home. Your body was never built for it. It was built for the moving river, the shared cup, the water that fought back, and that history might still be riding around inside you. A scientist named Graham Rook has an idea he calls the old friends hypothesis. For millions of years, our immune systems trained on a steady stream of microbes from water and soil and each other. Then we scrubbed almost all of it away in a single century. Rook compares the immune system to a computer. It ships with the software, but it needs data to learn what's actually a threat. Take the data away, and it starts swinging at everything. Pollen, dust, your own body. That may be part of why allergies and autoimmune disease keep climbing in the cleanest places on Earth. Your immune system isn't broken. It's bored. It's still waiting for a river that isn't coming back. You made it here because for 300,000 years, something in your ancestors refused to lose to the water. Something in their gut, their blood, their instincts. You are the result of every dirty drink that didn't kill them.